It's me. Hi. This one's going to be a doozy. So, this took a bit of editing, but I got all four of my workouts for the week into this video. I tried to condense it into something palatable, so it's like 16 minutes long. So, I'm sorry about that if you don't like seeing average lifters, but that's where we're at. So, deload week is done, and we're back to week one of, I guess, the second block of me running 531. Boring but big. And so now that we've finished 1 week, my main goal with that one was to sort of get warmed up, but then also to have numbers to work off of. So now we have new numbers for what my theoretical max is for the squat, for the bench, deadlift, overhead press, and we're going to go off of those. So using like 90% of my 1 rep max gets me 155 for the bench, 285 for the deadlift, 115 for overhead press. And then for squat, it was just 195, and I honestly want to get really good at that. So this is silly, but I put like basically 95% of my 1 rep max in here. So that's the numbers that we're working off of. So this should have a little bit more realistic of an effort, and it should definitely be a little bit harder. So here we see me overhead pressing. This is 105 for as many reps as possible. I still need to figure out kind of what I'm going to do with my grip. I have my wrist sort of extended back, and I want to maybe try to get it more in line with the rest of my arm. But in any case, pull-ups from the first block. I should do more pull-ups. I need change plates. So, like 2.5 pound plates, 5 pound plates. Because the metal ones I have, I'm really scared to use them because they mess up the barbell, and I don't have 2.5. So some of these weights, whenever it asks me to, do like 100 pounds, I end up doing a 105 because, I just don't have the weights. And then I will say this week really got me, or last block really got me to focus on sleep. And honestly, like working out like this has given me the motivation to sort of sleep on time and to sort of take into consideration what I do when I get back from work, what time I eat, what when I stop kind of drinking water and stuff, so I don't wake up in the middle of the night. So I've definitely started treating sleep kind of like its own exercise. Warming up for it, making sure I get enough of it, put those reps in. And so yeah, day one, I'm wearing weightlifting shoes. You can't tell on this one. I think power lifts or something. They're like 4 or 5 years old. I've almost never used them, and I have that little sheet of plywood under me just to have like a more stable surface. I do need to figure out like a weightlifting platform just because I have a little 4x2 piece of wood, and it's not the most consistent thing. So I need to make sure that I'm one, I have something that's not moving underneath me, but two, I think I need just the whole thing to be wood so that my feet width isn't determined by the width of the wood. And that'll, I think, come into play with the squats later. And then, man, one thing last block definitely taught me was I need to do more pull-ups. My lats were on fire, and I think I like the feeling. And so you see me there just sort of, waffling it at the end. But yeah, definitely more pull-ups. That one, I didn't do as many as I wanted to, but I'm just trying to do one more than last time. And here we go. Deadlifts with no shoes, with a stable platform. I probably do need to get one more piece of plywood to match the height of those little foam blocks that I have underneath the weight. But I didn't really have too much recovery from day one. I still felt pretty sore. I tried to pull forward my schedule by 1 day. So, instead of waiting the usual 2 days after that deload week, I just waited 1 day and then kind of went right into it. And that's sort of just to better align my schedule of working out with my work schedule. That's probably ill-advised, but that's what I did. And yeah, what's really interesting is I remember like just a couple weeks ago I was deadlifting or any of the weights that I was doing. I was just thinking, wow, this is so light. I can just continuously out on weight. Like in my head, I think I had this perception that I could just get stronger forever, which obviously I know I can't. But when I was doing whatever I was doing, like 185, lifting it did not feel at all difficult. And I remember doing this 245 for as many reps as possible. I remember just thinking, oh wow, this is heavy. So very quickly, you put enough weight on that bar, you're gonna at some point feel like, oh, this is a big thing I'm doing. And then yeah, I don't know if my grip strength or my core was failing me on that one. I remember also thinking, it's not my legs or my quads that are giving out here. It's just I just felt tired kind of doing those deadlifts. And then here we are doing more of the volume work. I think I'm going to try to do the double overhand grip for as long as I physically can. Just because it's simpler. I don't know if it's easier, but I don't really care about just numbers. So I'm happy to kind of just work on grip while we do this as well. From this angle, you can see my terrible haircut that the barber messed up. Honestly, even if they'd done it right, I don't think it looks much better. But another week of deadlifting done. And then I remember I have to do pull-ups, so put that down again. Yeah, these hanging leg raises, I'm trying to keep them controlled, and I think I'm almost there, but I really want to get 10 by 5, 10 reps for 5 sets. Almost there. All right, got some stragglers. Unfortunately, my pull-up bar is actually not as high as I would like because, the ceiling's kind of low, so I do sort of have to bend my knees a little bit on the bottom just so my feet don't sort of scrape the ground. So it's a little frustrating. Sweatpants bench time now. This is another one I'm really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. So this day took so much motivation to get up for. I really, really, really tried to rationalize like working out after work instead of beforehand. But yeah, I even had a friend comment on some post that, hey man, good job. I see you're working out in the mornings. That's great. Like I read that post in bed like 10 minutes before I was, benching. And yeah, this took a lot to get up to bench. But because I, wasted that time kind of going back and forth, I had to rush the end of this workout to make sure that I could get to work on time. So I had to cut a couple of I think one or two sets short on the pull-ups, which, clearly I'm devastated by. So here we go, 135, the classic 145 on each side. So these are the Rogue Echo V2 plates. And I guess, they're really meant for people who lift a lot of weight, not just, hundreds, 200s. And so, I think they're made so that you can kind of just pile them onto the bar and you're not going to run out of space on the barbell. Unfortunately, it has the side effect of making things not look as impressive. I think I recently saw a YouTube thumbnail of some strongman competition where they're using, instead of weight plates, they're just using like they're weight plates, but they're like tires. And, it just looks so much more impressive than lifting, these small width plates. But unfortunately, another thing, and I know I'm just probably complaining a lot, this bench, I have a hard time sort of starting off. Like I can never feel comfortable. I don't know if my scapulae are just the perfect width, but I feel like one is like hanging off of one side of the bench and the other is on it, and it just never feels comfortable, and I feel as if I'm gonna sort of fall off at any time. It's not that bad, but I'm really just trying to rationalize another purchase. So someone please stop me. And then I'm doing the same thing I was talking about last time, trying to go slower on the way down and then just pushing up hard. and making sure that when I go down, I'm sort of getting the full range of motion. I know a lot of people, when they're actually like bigger, they have a difficult time getting the bar that low because they just don't have the mobility, or their muscles like get in the way. So I'm very lucky to be so thin with such long arms that have to travel such a great distance, because I get to have that full range of motion. And then here's my arch nemesis, the pull-up. So I really did have to rush. The rest periods between these sets were not great, and there's a little bit of English mixed in, but you just keep doing it, get enough sleep, and at least I'm in a position where I can do at least 1 or 2, because I think it's easier to progress from like 4 to 8 than it is from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 2. So the goal is 10, and then hopefully we can think about adding weight. And here we go. Honestly, I'm really scared to squat on camera. I think I'm about to get heavily criticized for everything. I think that's what happens when you put squat videos up. But you'll see I'm wearing my power lifts, which for the most part, like outside of like a handful of times, I really haven't lifted with weightlifting shoes or powerlifting shoes, whatever. So having that heel at the back is not something I'm used to, but I really, really like it. I have, I think, a relatively long, legs. And so having that sort of heel height added really does allow me to keep my legs a little bit narrower, toes pointed a little bit more forward, because I could have my toes pointed out to the side. I could have my stance a little bit wider, but what I really want to work on with this is specifically my quads. And so for that, I'm happy I'm able to sort of keep this stance. Don't look at the order of the plates on each side. So this week called for 165, AMRAP, as many reps as possible. And this felt heavy. I think I spoke about it before with the deadlifts. So on this one, what ends up getting tired, actually, it doesn't feel like my quads. It feels like just my whole body got tired. And you'll see it on the next, the 5 sets of 10 that I'm about to do. But I feel like maybe it's a cardio thing, or it's just I'm not used to the work. But, this is eight reps, and you'll see me just kind of pause here and there just to kind of catch my breath. So I'm not sure what the standard number of squats is that you're supposed to be able to do without resting, but I think I might have to start incorporating some more cardio, and that's something I'll probably talk about next week, doing a whole little reflection on that. But I think one of my main goals this entire year, maybe next year too, is just going to be to try to get that squat up. I want that power, that weight to go up on the bar. But, it's only been a few weeks since I started, so can't wait to see how far I can make it. My legs still hurt from that day, even a few days out now. These little montages are always fun. I'm debating trying to do front squats. I feel like my back can't extend far enough. Like, I feel like I'm sort of hunched over. Maybe front squats would help me with that, but then I do want to just, for right now, work on quad strength. So I'm not sure, but I'll probably just do regular back squats for the next cycle, maybe 2. But as you can see, I get tired after about 4 reps. So for most of these, it goes 4 reps, pause, 3 reps, pause, 3 reps, and that's 10. I wonder if that'll get better with just squatting more, or if that's something I need to maybe start doing sprints or just general cardio. Maybe sleep better. I'm sure that wouldn't hurt. And I think I like talking about it. So, song of the week. Be pretty random here. It's called World Traveler by Japanese artist Hiroshi Watanabe. So that's That's us delving into my psyche a little bit. And then these are kind of more weightlifting squats, I think. You know, my goal, again, isn't just barely parallel and just see how much weight you can put on the bar. My goal is, you know, I want to get as much range of motion as possible. Try to get as strong as possible. So looking back on these, you know, maybe there's a little bit of, you know, the hips moving back before the knees, but that's something hopefully we can just work on. And then we just have these hanging straight leg raises. You know, I mentioned, I think last time that I was worried, or not worried, but, you know, it hurts my lower back to do these sometimes. So I was sort of I'm still sort of keeping my legs not fully extended. But I think with the squat days, my lower back really doesn't hurt as bad as the deadlift days, or it's not as tired. So I think for this one as well, obviously we'll try to do 10 by 5. I'm not sure how I'm going to, like, once I am able to do 10 for 5 sets, I'm not really sure. I guess what I'll probably end up doing to make it harder is just increasing the reps. Maybe to 15, maybe 20. Adding weight to this seems pretty ludicrous, so we'll see. In any case, guys, that's week 2. Or what is this? Week 1, day 2. And yeah, hope you have a good one. This was actually a lot of fun to edit. I suspect I'll get 10 people to watch this ever, but just know that I'm having a good time. See ya.